Hello everyone, Dr. Parley Anderson here, physical therapist and author of the book, All This Sitting Is Killing You. Doing what my book says not to do a lot of, and that is sit. And we do it on the average of about 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 hours a day. And today I want to talk about what this does to your hips. So see how my hip is in this kind of flex position versus when I'm standing, it's more extended. And then what this does, if I do this for hours and hours and hours, it tends to tighten the front part of my hips. And specifically, it can really affect a muscle called the iliopsoas. And there's two components to it. There's kind of a spinal component and a hip component, but each component attaches to the hip and functions to flex your hip. Hold it up like that. Again, there's a spinal component to it. So tightness of the iliopsoas can result in problems in your hips and also problems in the low back. And so this is important for people that sit for hours and hours a day, but also think about runners who do this. How's my running? Looking good. Doing this a lot, doing the hip flexing motion that you're needed to powerfully flex those hips when you run. And runners, they like to run a lot and they run for hours, and they do that, oftentimes 4, 5, 6 days a week. And what I found from treating a lot of runners and running problems is the hip flexor, specifically that iliopsoas muscle, gets really tight. And also bicyclists. Bicyclists are in this forward flex posture, again, for hours and hours a day, sometimes for several days a week. And so they can be definitely affected in terms of tightness of the hip flexors. So what do we do if we sit a lot and we bicycle a lot, which we love to do, and runners, I've tried to tell runners to, you might want to take some time off some running, but they keep running, which is, good for me. It's good for my business, but we want to get everybody healthy and doing the things they love without worrying about joint problems. So for the tightness of the hip flexors, I recommend a stretch that I will demonstrate right now. And when you do this stretch, the affected side that you want to stretch is, I recommend putting pillows under your knee in case you're on hard floors, whatever, and that pressure on the knees may not feel very good. So notice my other leg is out in front, and I'm also having something to hold, like a chair or couch or counter or something to stabilize and balance. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive my right knee forward, and when I do that, it's going to effectively lengthen through the front part of my hip. I'm also focused on good posture, and even kind of overemphasizing that slight backward position of the torso as I drive my right knee forward. Now I can also facilitate this stretch a couple ways. I can deepen that stretch by placing my left hand behind my left hip and effectively using it to push it even further forward. And then also I can let my hips kind of lower towards the floor as I drive my right knee forward. Watch my hips as they sink And that will also effectively increase the lengthening through here. And I like stretching with motion. Lubricates the joints, creates blood flow. You don't get that sustained strain. So it's stretch on, stretch off. Stretch on, stretch off. Common mistakes are not putting that off foot far enough forward. So here I can't get that good full lengthening through the hip that I would if I had my foot out in front of me. And then people tend to tilt forward when they drive the knee forward, effectively shortening this instead of lengthening it. And how much and how often should you do this? I would do about 15, maybe do the other side 15, then do another 15. So you're doing 2 sets of 15 and do that at least once a day, preferably twice a day. If you're having a lot of tightness through your hip flexors, and that should really make a difference for you. Get those hips healthy and reduce that strain on the lumbar spine. And thank you again. This is Dr. Parley Anderson, physical therapist and author of the book, All This Sitting Is Killing You.